Welcome guys, we thought we'd make you a little video today. We are at one of our clients and they have asked us to come and have a look at one of their Langstroth hives and see whether it's ready for a flow hive super. So it's got flow frames, and so instead of a normal Langstroth super, we're going to fit a flow style super with flow frames into it, and then hopefully they can start filling that up. So the first thing we're going to do is just have a look at the amount of frames that the ladies have filled in their current brood box, and we want to make sure that there's at least 5 to 7 frames that are covered with bees and with comb. And then once we get up there, I'll also show you exactly what the flow frame looks like, and how to make sure that it's good to go onto your brood box. Cool, so we've got some of our tools ready here. Obviously safety first. We've got our gloves and our suits on. We've got a little bit of we've got our smoker here. We're just going to do a little bit of smoke just to make sure they're nice and calm while we do our checks. And then we've got our trusty hive tool here, and that is just to help us take the lid off the box, because sometimes the ladies do stick that with their propolis, the bee glue, and this will just make that process easier. This guy, we might not use it today, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so we have got our flow frames here, which is so our client has got their normal Langstroth brood box, and we've checked it, and there's actually 5 of the frames that are full. So I just want to show you the insides of the flow frame quickly. So the very most important thing to do when you put your flow frame on is to make sure that once you've opened up your box, that you put your queen excluder on first. Okay, and then now remember, you would have carried your flow frame box. So inside those flow frames may have shifted a little bit. So I'm just going to open it up so I can show you. The idea is once you've put your box, so queen excluder first, and then your flow frame super, and then make sure before you put it on that all of your frames are in line. Okay, otherwise when it comes to harvest time, the bees, when you open this up, they are going to actually be able to get out of here, and they might get in the way. So as you can see here, all of these are nice and flush, so no bees coming out of there. Okay, you can see some of the bees are already coming to investigate, which is very, very good. This is a Langstroth hive. So with our hive, so you're still going to use your normal lid, but we've just got a spacer on our lid, between the lid and the flow frame box, and that is basically to help make sure that when it comes to harvest time, you're not blocking your keys. Otherwise you can't actually put your flow frame key in here and turn your box. And then, just as I mentioned, each flow frame super comes with 7 flow frames, and they obviously look like this. And as I said again, just make sure that once you put your box on top, that all your frames are nice and in line, so that when it comes to harvest time, that that no bees can get through at the front of the box. Okay guys, yeah, so here is our client's box that we are going to put our flow frame super onto, and just to make sure that we're not sort of upsetting them too much, we're just going to give them a little bit of smoke, and then just wait a few minutes, make sure all the flow frames are nice and in line before we actually go into the box. So we just give them a little bit of time, and not a lot of smoke, just a little bit, just to calm them down. Okay, so you can see we're still good. There's nobody in the lid. I'll just put this here to the side. Just give this. This hive is actually not having much happening on it. It actually has a bit of an infestation of wax moth. I'll show you now. So this is actually wax moth that has gotten into the hive. So these ladies are actually having quite a difficult time. I'm going to show you the next one as well. So sure, okay. So there's the wax moth larvae that have actually now taken over the house of these poor ladies. And so I'll take this frame out now, then you'll be able to see. So this poor colony is actually in a bit of trouble. There you can see, very, very sick. And then I'll show you here, check all the larvae inside the hive. So the question we get asked quite often when we open up a box like this is, can you still use this this comb and these frames? And the answer is yes, you can actually. It's just, so take the larvae out and make sure that you've got as much of it out as possible, and then just put these frames actually into the freezer, and about 72 hours is good enough, and they will then that will then actually kill the wax moth and the beetles if they've taken over, which it looks like they might have actually as well. Yeah, and so and then you should be able to use this comb again. Otherwise, take it off, melt it down, and you can always use it to bait your boxes. You know, it's not completely wasted. So there's a beetle. Can you see the beetle there? He's coming out of the hole there. So those are the beetles I was talking about. There you go. Not a beetle. And there's some hatching brood, which is always very cool to see. And then these are little pollen pockets. So the ladies have been filling those with pollen. There's another little hatching bee. Welcome, girlfriend. Sorry about the chaos. I don't see the queen there on that one. So that is what you would call a typical queen cell. And to be honest with you, it looks like she may have left. Which I don't blame her at all. As you can see. But you never know, you might find her. Look at that wax moth nest there now. The girls are trying desperately to clean them out, as you can see. But it seems it's a bit of a lost cause. Check all the beetles there now. Shame, they have completely decimated this group of girls' house. So these girls are really they've just been raiding this box they've obviously moved on, and they've been coming back just to see what they can, or it might even be other bees from other hives coming to see what they can get for neat, for free. Okay, with this very nice usable comb in the super, which is very nice, and it hasn't been infested with the moth, so you can definitely use that again. But just to be safe, we'll still pop those in the freezer, clean them up nicely. Okay, so that box is definitely not going to work. Shame, they were quite severely hammered there by all sorts of pests that you could possibly think of. So we're going to try and see how these ladies are doing, and if they're doing okay, we're going to see if we can pop the flow frames onto them. Okay guys, so we often also get a question around when is the best time to do this sort of thing, and the there's two things, okay? So the first thing is, if you know that at least 5 to 7 of your frames in your brood box there's bees sitting on them, they have built up the brood, so that they are packed, so that is a good indication that it is time for you to be able to put a super on. And then on the day that you decide to put the super on, it's very important to have good weather. So not a lot of wind, a nice sunny day like today, and sort of mid-morning, so late to mid-morning. That is generally a good time. The ladies are not so upset. If you choose a day which is overcast and cold, they are trying to do what we do. They hide from the elements. So if you're going to now go and on a cold day open up their box, they're going to get very upset with you because you are messing with the temperature inside of their home. So just those two things. Make sure you have at least 5 to 7 frames that are full and packed with your bees, and make sure that it is a good day, a good weather day. So if you look at those guys, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 frames that are nice and full. You can see the bees they've built them nice and full, and so this would be a good indication that you could put a flow frame super on there. You might be thinking every time, why can't she get the frames out easily? Okay, and the reason is because the bees have actually gone, and so this black stuff that you can see, so I just call it bee glue, but it's actually propolis, and they use that to fill all the little holes where air can come in, and it helps them to make sure that the hive on the inside is nice and cozy. So our box is up. Now that we have it up, as I said, make sure, because remember you've carried it now, so make sure that you've lined up all your faces so you have a solid wall, and that when you do end up harvesting, so you can see there now, no bees can come out here. You can see they're already coming up and inspecting the flow frames. And don't forget your spacer. Remember, if you don't put your spacer on, when you put your lid on, you're not gonna be able to open up your key, where your key goes in. Okay, last bit. Roof. And that, as they say, is that. I'm happy with that. Very good. We're gonna have a chat with the client and just fill her in on the health of her hives, and see what we can do to help get get the other hive set up and back and ready for housing a nice beautiful a queen and her girls, and get some good honey from her as well. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. It was really nice, beautiful day, and we'll let you know when we load up the next one. Cheers.